like that. LeBron didn't have a ton of those shots at the rim, but when he did, he was making them. What up, C?
Yeah, he's got a patent on that. That's his move right there. Forces him left, a little spin back with his left hand, back to his right hand, his dominant hand. Oh, he's mastered that one.
Absolutely. It's impressive when you say the Donovan Mitchell impersonation that he's done it enough as a rookie that when you see it, you do think of Donovan Mitchell as well. Because he's modeled that move after LeBron.
On to the Sixers and Celtics. Jaylen Brown, steal, dunk, and check out Gucci Mane rocking his jersey courtside.
This is just flat-out hustle right here. This was a key play in the game. Jaylen Brown had just come into the game. I don't know what Sarge was thinking about.
I totally agree with you, see. And how do you do this with a sore hamstring? Like, you got to, this was very early in the game. I think the score was like 11-5. And as soon as it happened, I texted our producers that do the video and say, if the Celtics win, I want this on the show. Like, that was, you saw the hustle of the Celtics. You saw Jaylen Brown's athleticism. Man.
Jason Tatum throwing it down.
Not only was this good, this was critical. This was a tight point in the game. And the game could have gone either way. The Celtics decided to run late in the game, got them some easy buckets, and Tatum was spectacular.
Amazing. Jason Tatum, he had a great stat line, and his stat line does not do him justice. Like the 21 points on 50% shooting, but it felt like every basket was critical that he made.
All right, sticking with the Sixers and Celtics, not sure anyone but a true diehard Celtics fan could have predicted what happened last night in Game 2. You know, the part about a depleted and injured Celtics team beating a stacked Sixers team last night. You know, the part about Ben Simmons scoring just 1 point the entire game. You know, the part about the Celtics winning 108-103 to take a 2-games-to-none lead in this series. Here is Ben Simmons on his off night.
I think mentally, I was thinking too much, overthinking the plays, and wasn't just out there flowing and playing the way I play, which is free. And I think, you know, obviously they have a game plan. I know what their game plan is, and I got to play my game.
Coach was saying whoever bring the fight to one another is going, and whoever the tougher team is going to win. And they definitely punched us in the mouth at the beginning of the game, and we just had to bounce back and get things together. I'm
going to have bad games. It happens. Obviously, it's not the perfect timing, but you head home now. We got 2 home games that we need to take care of and handle business. We have the team to do it, the coach stuff, and just got to go do it.
It's quite an outfit that Terry Rozier was sporting last night. It was a little throwback and a little throw forward. All right, Nick, was last night more about the Celtics overachieving or the Sixers underachieving?
I want to give all the credit in the world to Boston. I thought Kenny Smith on TV last night got it exactly right. I've never seen a team where the players seem more interchangeable, where you lose Kyrie Irving and Terry Rozier gives you 95% of the production Kyrie Irving was giving you. I've never seen that, where you lose Gordon Hayward 7 minutes into the year, and by the end of the year, Jason Tatum is giving you everything you could have hoped Gordon Hayward would be giving you. That when Marcus Smart went down earlier, Semi Ojeleye steps in and plays that role as well as he can. So Boston deserves an enormous amount of credit from the coach, the GM, to the coach, to the players who have to go out there and execute, and they're undefeated at home these playoffs, so maybe we should have seen them starting off this series well. But the other side of this is, and this is the concern for Philly, is the point C's been making all year long, which is Ben Simmons, as great as he is, he's going to need to learn how to shoot. Well, Boston...
Oh, no, that's not important in basketball. Oh, no, that's not important.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think anyone's ever doubted that shooting's important, but we saw Ben Simmons over the course of the year be extraordinary, have an all-time rookie campaign, despite not being able to shoot. Well, Boston has solved him thus far in these playoffs. They were minus 22 with Simmons on the court in a game that was only a 5-point game. So, like, the plus-minuses can be misleading at times. But when the game's only decided by 5 points, and one guy on your team, when he's out there for he played 30 minutes last night, you're outscored by 23, pardon me, not 22. Like, that's the story of the game. The offense ground to a halt when Ben Simmons was out there because of the way the Celtics are guarding him, and that is a concern for Philly no matter where these games are going to be played.
Yeah, you can't concentrate on the individual during the season, collectively, a team is trying to win one game. The scouting report is very, very limited. That's why the playoffs is totally different. So for me, this was the first time that Philadelphia looked like a young team. Not just because the result of the game, not because the way Ben did, but they had a big lead, and they tried to play at a pace. That's the only way the Celtics can get back in the game, is if Philadelphia keeps shooting hurried up, rushed threes. And that's what they did to end the first half. Yep. Like, they just kept shooting shots, just unabated, not even realizing, at some point you have to realize what the game is, the pace of the game. And they didn't think about that. That was the first time this playoff I've seen that said, wow, that's a young team right there. There was another instance where the coach didn't call a timeout when the Celtics had a run. He thought they would play themselves out of it. But they're a young basketball team. Young basketball teams, it's hard for them to be able to play themselves out of a slump. So those two instances right there, and Ben Simmons and his inability to be able to get the ball in the bucket or play the type of game that they're playing, because Boston has decided this. He can shoot as many jump shots as he wants to.
Right.
We're going to overplay the three-point line for the other players. Now, if he can dribble past me, which they're playing great positional defense on him, it becomes an issue. Now, you're talking about Ben Simmons can't shoot. He can't shoot outside of 5 feet.
Right.
And that is real. And you could see that in last night's game.
Just real quick to CC's point about the run, Philly had a 22-point lead with 6 minutes left in the second quarter. By 3 minutes left in the third quarter, so 15 game minutes, Boston was up 8. It was a 48-18 run. So it's not just coming back from 22. It's erasing that deficit instantly. It is a game that Philly should have been in firm control of at halftime. It was, I think, a 4 or 5 point game at the half, and then Boston had taken an 8-point lead.
And they brought the crowd back.
Right, they got the crowd back in, absolutely. I mean, they instantly erased what should have been. You're not supposed to blow 22-point leads in the playoffs, even if you have them early in the game.
I want to ask you guys about Sixers head coach Brett Brown and his decision to put Ben Simmons back in when clearly T.J. McConnell was playing great and was far more productive for this Sixers team. Ben Simmons was clearly not playing great. And he puts him back in the fourth quarter, and we saw what happened. Do you have any issue, either of you, with that?
No, Jim, that's a legitimate question. But P.J. McConnell's P.J. McConnell. Like, if you, what's his name?
T.J.
Yeah, when he gets good,
you'll get
I'll
it right.
put a P.J. on it.
You'll put a T.J. on it. I got you. Go
Because
ahead.
there were times during the year you would question, man, why is he in the lineup? Why are they utilizing him? I thought Fultz would
take
build
his spot.
I thought he would play more in. Now, he did have a burst. He had 5 minutes where he was unconscious. He did help them out. Got rebounds, got 2 quick buckets. But the reality is, Ben's been a star all year. He's a frontline player. He's your franchise. He's one of the faces of your franchise. He's a 6'10" point guard. So, yeah, in real time, you can sit there and nitpick and be like, oh, yeah, but if you've been watching the 76ers and you know who Ben Simmons and what he can do, and you know what PJ can do.
But PJ was plus 16 last night.
Listen, absolutely. And Simmons,
But the totality of it, Jim.
Right,
like,
just real quick, they kept him out as long as they could have. Ben Simmons went out midway through the third, did not go back in midway through the fourth. That is not your regular rotation. He was supposed to go out midway through the third, come back beginning of the fourth. So they gave TJ as much time as they could have. But you cannot do the process and then in a critical moment keep your rookie off the court. No. He's got to go through this. Either for good or for bad, he needs to be out there. It is more important for Philadelphia long term that Ben Simmons either figure it out or deal with the fact that he couldn't. Because you don't draft injured players because you're waiting on a process. You don't draft Euros that aren't going to come over for a few years like Saric. Have Embiid play 30 games in 3 years. Have Simmons sit out the end of last year when he didn't have to. And then all of a sudden disregard when you're in the crucible of the moment and say T.J. McConnell gives us a better chance. And T.J. McConnell was playing so over his skis. I think Brett Brown felt like we've stolen as many minutes as we can. If we're going to win this game, Ben Simmons is going to have to show up. He just couldn't show up.
All right, we'll take a break. Coming up, LeBron James knows who deserves credit for his great night. The answer might surprise you because it doesn't rhyme with LeBron. That's next on First Things First.
T.J. McConnell is a Jenna Wolf all-star.